Hey, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to read some more Lenin today. This is from his 2018, or not, I always say 2018. Why? 1918 piece, The Immediate Task of the Soviet Government. And this is going to be the fourth part of this, which is the significance of the struggle for country-wide accounting and control. The significance of the struggle for countrywide accounting and control. Let's go ahead and get into this. Written in 1918. In 1 second, let me grab some technical difficulties. I'll always do this. Okay. This is the significance of the struggle for countrywide accounting and control. The state, which for centuries has been an organ for oppression and robbery of the people, has left us a legacy of the people's supreme hatred and suspicion of everything that is connected with the state. It is very difficult to overcome this, and only a Soviet government can do it. Even a Soviet government, however, will require plenty of time and enormous perseverance to accomplish it. This legacy is especially apparent in the problem of accounting and control, the fundamental problem facing the socialist revolution on the morrow of the overthrow of the bourgeoisie. A certain amount of time will inevitably pass before the people, who feel free for the first time now that the landowners and the bourgeoisie have been overthrown, will understand, not from books, but from their own Soviet experience, will understand and feel that without comprehensive state accounting and control of the production and distribution of goods, the power of the working people, the freedom of the working people cannot be maintained, and that a return to the yoke of capitalism is inevitable. All the habits and traditions of the bourgeoisie, and of the petty bourgeoisie in particular, also oppose state control and uphold the inviolability of sacred private property, of sacred private enterprise. It is now particularly clear to us how correct is the Marxist thesis that anarchism and anarcho-syndicalism are bourgeois trends, how irreconcilably opposed they are to socialism, proletarian dictatorship, and communism. The fight to instill into the people's minds the idea of Soviet state control and accounting, and to carry out this idea in practice. The fight to break with the rotten past, which taught the people to regard the procurement of bread and clothes as a private affair, and buying and selling as a transaction which concerns only myself. Quote, which concerns only myself, end quote. Is a great fight of world historic significance, a fight between socialist consciousness and bourgeois anarchist spontaneity. We have introduced workers' control as a law, but this law is only just beginning to operate and is only just beginning to penetrate the minds of broad sections of the proletariat. In our agitation, we do not sufficiently explain that lack of accounting and control in the production and distribution of goods means the death of the rudiments of socialism, means the embezzlement of state funds. For all property belongs to the state, and the state is the Soviet state, in which power belongs to the majority of the working people. We do not sufficiently explain that carelessness in accounting and control is downright aiding and abetting the German and Russian Kornilovs, who can overthrow the power of the working people only if we fail to cope with the task of accounting and control, and who, with the aid of the whole of the rural bourgeoisie, with the aid of the constitutional Democrats, the Mensheviks, and the right socialist revolutionaries, are, quote, watching us and waiting for an opportune moment to attack us. And the advanced workers and peasants do not think and speak about this sufficiently. Until workers' control has become a fact, until the advanced workers have organized and carry out a victorious and ruthless crusade against the violators of this control, or against those who are careless in matters of control, It will be impossible to pass from the first step from workers' control to the second step towards socialism, i.e., to pass on to workers regulation of production. The socialist state can arise only as a network of producers and consumers, communes, which conscientiously keep account of their production and consumption, economize on labor, and steadily raise the productivity of labor, thus making it possible to reduce the working day to 7, 6, and even fewer hours. Nothing will be achieved unless the strictest countrywide comprehensive accounting and control of grain and the production of grain, and later of all other essential goods, are set going. Capitalism left us a legacy of mass organizations which can facilitate our transition to the mass accounting and control of the distribution of goods, namely the consumers' cooperative societies. In Russia, these societies are not so well developed as in the advanced countries. Nevertheless, they have over 10 million members. The decree on consumers' cooperative societies issued the other day is an extremely significant phenomenon, which strikingly illustrates the peculiar position and the specific task of the Soviet Socialist Republic at the present moment. The decree is in agreement with the bourgeois cooperative societies and the workers' cooperative societies, which still adhere to the bourgeois point of view. It is an agreement or compromise. Firstly, because the representatives of the above-mentioned institutions not only took part in discussing the decree, but actually had a decisive say in the matter. For the parts of the decree which were strongly opposed by these institutions were dropped. Secondly, the essence of the compromise is that the Soviet government has abandoned the principle of admission of new members to cooperative societies without entrance fees, which is the only consistently proletarian principle. It has also abandoned the idea of uniting the whole population of giving locality in a single cooperative society. Contrary to this principle, which is the only socialist principle, and which corresponds to the task of abolishing classes, the quote, working class cooperative societies, end quote, which in this case call themselves class societies, only because they subordinate themselves to the class interests of the bourgeoisie, were given the right to continue to exist. Finally, the Soviet government's proposals to expel the bourgeoisie entirely from the boards of the cooperative societies was also considerably modified, and only owners of private capitalist trading and industrial enterprises were forbidden to serve on the boards. Had the proletariat, acting through the Soviet government, managed to organize accounting and control on a national scale, or at least laid the foundation for such control, it would not have been necessary to make such compromises. Through the food departments of the Soviets, through the supply organizations under the Soviets, we should have organized the population into a single cooperative society under proletarian management. We should have done this without the assistance of bourgeois cooperative societies, without making any concession to the purely bourgeois principle which prompts the workers' cooperative societies to remain workers' societies side by side with bourgeois societies. Instead of subordinating these bourgeois cooperative societies entirely to themselves, merging the two together, and taking the entire management of the society and the supervision of the consumption of the rich in their own hands. In concluding such an agreement with the bourgeois cooperative societies, the Soviet government concretely defined its tactical aims and its peculiar methods of action in the present stage of development as follows. By directing the bourgeois elements, utilizing them, making certain partial concessions of them, we create the conditions for further progress that will be slower than we had first anticipated, but sure with the base and lines of communication better secured and with the positions which have been won better consolidated. The Soviets can and should now gauge their successes in the field of socialist construction, among other things, by extremely clear, simple, and practical standards, namely in how many communities, communes or villages, or blocks of houses, etc., cooperative societies have been organized, and to what extent their development has reached the point of embracing the whole population. Okay, yeah. So that was the significance of the struggle for countrywide accounting and control. And then, so next what we have is raising the productivity of labor. And yeah, so after that we'll have a few more parts of this pamphlet. But this is from The Immediate Task of the Soviet Government by V.I. Lenin, written in April 1918. That was the significance of the struggle for countrywide accounting and control. Okay, well, thank y'all for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium, all of these are Marxist. Y'all can hit me up there. Follow me there. Um, yeah, just hit me up anytime you want. I'll try to respond. Y'all have a great day and gotta go.